BraveMaker Show is hosted by Tony Gapastione. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Magic, Avid, all these places. So I got like a weird high school education in it and learned a lot of filmmaking through that. So kind of just got started right out of high school. Like I was freelancing at 17, which I think might have been illegal.
All right, real quick, we're gonna check. Someone said there's mic issues. I just checked. Let us know in the comments. 7 people are watching live here. Some people are saying hello. Go ahead. What we got here? Muted. What's going on? What's going on? Check. 1, check 2. Someone saying yes. Hang loose. Are we? Can you all hear us? Let's hear something in the chat. Looks like we're in the right microphone. Just want to make sure we're good now. Fantastic. All right. This is episode 316. We are at it with Tyler Clark, a cinematographer from the Midwest out here, Park City, Utah. Has a project called Freelance. It's a pilot episode of an independent TV show, which this is what's up. People are making television shows independently now.
Yeah.
The film market is not the only way to tell stories independently. Like you can and you should consider how to make a show independently on your own in hopes to sell it. Now, you might have missed this, but Tyler said he was the guy, and you are rare. You are a 1 or 2%er. He was the guy who said, "I'm not coming to Sundance until I get a project." I was like, those kind of people. I'm always like, dude, it's so hard to get into Sundance. Come, have your life be changed. So don't be like Tyler unless you are in the 1%, but you should still come even when you don't get selected because it's so amazing. And I say that in jest. But you are so blessed and lucky to be now a DP who can say, I have a film at Sundance. Like that is huge, huge. So what are you hoping to do? We were talking about the quirky challenges of being a freelance artist. Yes. There's no one or right way to get into the industry. Yeah. So what are you doing? What's your strategies? What kind of goals? You're obviously here. You're going to be promoting yourself. Talk about some of the things you hope to get out of this week.
Well, I think the biggest thing is just we're in a town full of amazing filmmakers. I just want to meet all of them. Like, I want to meet everyone and anyone who I can meet here, because meeting people is the only way that you're going to keep doing stuff in this industry. Like, the more people you know, the more filmmakers you get to work with, more opportunities you have to work on films that, could go somewhere, back to a Sundance, go to any other big festival. And that's the lifestyle of this industry, really.
Okay, so with you, how did you go from small town productions, because you did it right out of high school, to landing these major brands that you work with Nike, you work with Meta, you've done some dope stuff.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
How do you make that transition as a cinematographer?
It's interesting. So it was a little bit out of necessity in the area that I came out of in the Midwest. Like, there was a local film community and then there was a commercial community, and I had to make money. I have to be able to eat and live.
Yes, we do.
And the commercials paid money and they were around. And fortunately, I got, right out of high school, I started doing some PA work, grip work with a commercial company that eventually started taking me on into DP roles.
What?
I know it's not how you're supposed to get started. This is not how you're supposed to do it. It's a great way to do it. I got very lucky, but I was very quickly, by the time I was 21, I think I had shot a feature with that company, and then I had shot a.
You are in the 1%, dude.
Okay,
lucky ducks.
Again, that's not how you're supposed to do it. And then they had commercial clients, so I started doing smaller, not nearly as big as I've done now, but definitely smaller stuff, more national stuff, some local stuff, in the commercial space. So I started getting the flow of I started getting both sides of the coin coming my way of when people saw that I was doing commercials and doing films. People who wanted to work on films came to me with film ideas. People wanted to work with commercials came to me with commercial projects. So, but realistically, all that to say is do the projects and show the projects that you want to get the work for, and that's usually what comes to you. Is what I was taught and what I always tell other people.
Say that last part again. Do what? Say that again.
Do and show the projects that you want to do more of, and those will come your way.
We got to clip that, right?
Yeah.
It's that manifesting thing too. It's this is what I want to do. A few of us were walking down the streets from getting coffee this morning. We were just saying, this is what I want this week. Yeah. This is what I'm good at. This is my superpower. This is what I can do. And when you know that and you go into rooms, you don't feel the insecurity of going, I have to prove myself to everyone. This is what I'm good at. If you want it, if you want
Absolutely.
me, I'm here.
Yeah.
I can tell a good story. For me, I'm not going to be someone behind a camera. I could, but I don't want to do that. I want to be the person writing the story, directing the story, producing it, navigating, helping other people get their projects off the ground. You're like, dude, I can whip this camera and do whatever you need to do. That's huge, right? Yeah. And I always think about cinematographers. They work way more than directors and producers. So you're working a lot. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. The directors always they're signed on for the long haul of a project. So it's like either they're building their own narratives or they got signed on to a narrative, and they're sitting in pre-production for months. They're sitting in post-production for months. The production window is very small for them, which I always find fascinating, especially when like, you know, and it makes me value great directors so much more, knowing that like, you know, they're not on set all that often. They're not, you know, making mistakes and learning from them in real time like DPs do. Like DPs, they, you know, within 2 or 3 productions, they can be like, oh, I know I'm not going to do this thing that I did again that doesn't work. This is how I'm supposed to do it. I'm going to keep doing it that way. They get the reps in. They're able to.
Yeah, because you guys are actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And DPs, they, you know, it's interesting too, because directors probably work the least, DPs a little bit more, and then crew works a lot. You know, if you're a great AC, you're a great gaffer, you're in those worlds, you're a great sound person. People are always, every person's going to be hiring you. So it's always fascinating. It makes me admire directors a lot, and it makes me, you know, really want to like bring as much as I can to a director, but also really listen to them and their process, because I know that so much has happened with this project before I came here, before I got signed on, and so much is going to happen after. So I want to, as much as I know how to do that little middle production end, I want to learn as much as I can from them and work with them as closely as I can before and after.
Okay, speaking of learning, I know like from your Instagram and your website, you shoot incredible, stunning, beautiful shots.
Thank you.
And then translated from the trailers I've seen from Freelance. What was the hardest shot for you guys to film, and how did you guys solve the problem?
All of it. It was all very hard. It was the hardest shot, the hardest space. It's not much of a spoiler. The film opens with it's the group's the ensemble's first wedding that they're gonna film, because that's how, like myself, I also broke into the industry filming weddings. Again, you gotta make money. I like filming weddings. I know some other filmmakers just they wash their hands of it. I don't do it anymore, but I appreciate it. But they the hardest part for sure was from a DP standpoint, the wedding scene 100%, just because you have to light this huge space, like you can't like, you know, get away with just bringing a light close to each actor at a time. Like we have to light this space for 2 cameras to roam around in it, and all these people, like there's a dance scene in it. Like that's maybe a bit of a spoiler.
Dance scene at a wedding? Spoiler.
Yeah, right. But like we have to light this massive area, and we were on a budget. Like we had money, but we didn't have, you know, like big movie money. So we were lighting this with like, you know, I think some 4Ks, like a few 20 or LED equivalents, and like we're trying to light through windows as much as possible. We're trying to just like shoot as much light into the scene as possible while there's windows everywhere, and make sure that everyone looks their best and everything's coverable in like a very quick amount of time, because we only had the space for, you know, roughly a day, maybe a little less. So that was the biggest challenge as a DP. I know some people have asked for behind the scenes photos of me from that set. I am nowhere to be found, because I am running around everywhere being like, change that light over here. All right, A cam here, B camera here. Okay, and then I'm on the headset, and the actors don't know that I'm not talking to them, so they're getting confused.
Oh, wow.
But it was a big challenge, but ultimately, I mean, I think we did a great job with it. At the end of the day, we had a great team, amazing G&E team. Central Grip, shout out from Columbus. They were fantastic. Our camera team, we had our kind of second unit DP / AOP, Jason Hanbach, and then our second AC promoted to B camera operator, Sammy, I believe Lahiri, if I remember his last name correctly, both of which were fantastic. Having them made the production. So.
You guys had a big crew.
It was healthy. It was healthy.
I love that word.
There were days I think we had maybe a little bit less and a little bit more, just because like the wedding day was a very big day. But then there were other days where it was like we were only in like a few smaller locations here and there. But yeah, I mean, there were a lot of new challenges with it. They, the studio had just come out. We were all really inspired again by long oneers. So we did a lot of handheld, long takes, which it sounds very simple from a camera operating standpoint, but from a lighting and blocking standpoint, it becomes very,
the dance.
Yeah. And then, we talked about the talent earlier. One thing I love about the Turner brothers is they work with people who acting might not be their main thing. Most of the people in our production, I believe, they're actors, but they also have a great online presence. They're like
Kev on stage.
Yes, I love Kev. Kev made me laugh so much, and I was operating the camera, and he couldn't be doing that with me.
One day.
He was fantastic, and his ability to improv was fantastic. So was everybody's. It was all great. So having that cast there made it so much easier in order to pull off these really really intricate scenes and shots in these one takes, and having those people there who can not only deliver but then maybe give an option and then also still hit the same places at the same times. They were all absolutely fantastic. And I appreciate that so much from two directors who are we don't necessarily need the most trained actors. We want the people who we want the people who are the funniest. We work with
maybe
Louis
they're not as well known or
great.
famous either. That's the other thing too, is we're hearing so many projects now. We don't have to have A-list names. We don't have to have people who are well known. Give people a chance who are maybe at the C. I hate labeling people like that, but there are people who need that bump and are doing great work. It's throw them some great roles so they can prove themselves. And it does take a team taking a risk on actors. So I really appreciate that too.
And real quick on the technical side, what camera did you shoot with in lenses?
So we shot with 2 Alexa 35s, with Zeiss standard speed lenses, and I think a few ingenue zooms for the zoom package. And then we also did we had a Blackmagic package for it was for our car rig stuff, which was very useful, and there will actually be a Blackmagic write-up about this as well. But it was very useful for that stuff. They did our plates for the car work, and it made it so simple and so smooth. And also, I love that camera. I own one. It was a dream package, having the small good camera and then also the bigger cinema package, both of which married each other very well. I don't try to be a brand loyalist exactly, so I like being flexible.
I like that too.
All
right, well, we're in episode 317. If you're just popping in, this is the BraveMaker Podcast. We have Tyler Clark, who is a cinematographer on a Sundance 2026 selected project called Freelance. We're talking to him about the making of it, all the behind the scenes. I'm Tony Gapastione, and as we end the podcast here, it's fun to talk about the collaboration of people on set. As a director, I love working with directors of photography. Now, it sounds like some of my DPs, because we don't have a healthy budget or team, are literally manning the camera. Sounds like you got to actually step back and literally direct the photography. You've got A cam, B cam, all this thing. Talk to me about best practices for collaboration with directors. Talk to me about what you hope. Everyone's different. Everyone collaborates different. You sign on our project and you go, all right, this is what would make me feel so successful and so supported when I come onto this project. What are you looking for?
Well, I think honestly the biggest thing that I generally look for, I just try to find ways to have as much conversation with the directors as I can. The Turners and I have a pretty big shorthand now. I mean, we've worked together for years, and we kind of all have I generally focus on the images. Justin generally focuses. He's very knowledgeable about the edit. Julian's always very knowledgeable about the characters and the story building. So we all kind of have a nice little triad there. But when it comes to working even with new directors, I want to talk to them as much as I can. And what was a blessing on this one was having operators to where I could just kind of always be with them and make sure that we were moving in the right direction. And something didn't get miscommunicated and all of a sudden we're working in the wrong direction.
Okay.
So as much as there are definitely productions where I love having a camera in my hands, but I definitely appreciate camera operators a lot. Whenever, like this project, for example, we didn't have the time for me to have a camera in my hand. I needed to be talking with them, talking with gaffers, talking with operators. So it was a blessing in disguise, and I love being able to give people like in other roles who want to operate that experience if I can. Which is great. And like I said, Sammy, our BCam op, stepped up and really sang.
Way to go, Sammy.
Yeah.
Okay, so some other quick things, because what I hear you saying, because there's a lot of people who are directors and want to be directors, prioritize conversations. I have had experiences where in my younger directing days, I really relied on a DP because I didn't speak lenses. Now I'm learning, 35, 50, and I'm starting to appreciate that. I also love when a DP says, what do you want it to feel like? They're asking me questions in this conversation that help go, okay, then we need to get this lens and we need to have this kind of lighting. I really appreciate that. So conversation number one, what are some things that can make a production just go south when the collaboration kind of stops, or when give us some things, because I appreciate hearing things to avoid,
Yeah. I think I think the thing that I've learned more recently, and like, it sounds very obvious, but like it takes some years to learn, is to really be at service to the people around you, which is not like you're, as a DP, you're there to make the best images, but it takes a long time to get confident enough to really listen to everyone around you. And that is so much of this industry. We hire amazing professionals to work for us, gaffers, ACs. Ideally, I love a gaffer who has way more years than I have in the business under our belt. But with directors, I think the biggest thing is just to be willing to, I always want to have an idea of how to cover the scene that's on the page. And like after our conversations, to be like, I never want them to feel like they have to tell me exactly where to do things and how to put a camera. I love that input if they want it. Some people love, they know the exact lens they want. They know the exact feel that they want. Sometimes it's more of a conversation of like, what's the tone? Maybe we can do this lens, maybe we can do this camera movement. But I always want to come in and have a good idea of, if the director has to disappear for, a whole scene because something big is happening, which does happen, I want to be able to help cover that scene for them and still make it right. But I also don't ever want to come in and be too rigid to any idea anymore. I think younger me was always like, oh, I have this cool idea and it seems like it's going to work. And so I stick with it and I push on through it. And, it may have been fine, but there may have been a better thing that the director might have been happier with, or might have served the story a little bit better had I just kind of opened my ears a little bit. So I always try to just listen as much as I can and really be flexible and adaptable. And as long as everyone's kind of working towards the same general thing that we're all working towards. Sometimes it's a mood, sometimes it's a specific lensing or a technical thing. If we have a big one or steady cam shot, obviously there's a technical element to that, and if we're not moving towards, if the lighting team and the camera team and the everyone else isn't moving in that same direction, then obviously there's a problem there. But as long as everyone's moving in the same direction, I love hearing I want to hear everyone's input to some degree. And that took me a long time to really become adaptable to. And I think it's giving me some of the best results I've had in the past few years. So
that's good.
I think it's made the projects a lot better.
Did someone like tap you on your shoulder to say like, hey, you might want to open up the ears a little bit more? Like, what was that moment for you? Because communication and the piece of communication of really listening and being open it's a skill. How did that transition happen for you? Was it like an incident? That kind of.
It wasn't a specific incident. I think it was kind of a post-COVID realization where, pre-COVID, very different industry. Post-COVID, very different industry. Who's to say what's better or worse? It's all just changing and happening. I got on the feature that I have coming out sometime in the next year or two with I think I was on day 1 or 2 of that, and I remember a really great Steadicam operator that me and the Turners also work with, Ryan Forte. We were waiting around and I was like, hey man, you work on all these big productions without me, with like ASC DPs, great directors, all these things, huge commercials. I'm like, what in your opinion makes sets the smoothest, like where you get like the best results for the DP, for the director, for the talent? What makes those sets the smoothest in your opinion? Because you get to watch it from the outside, you get, and what he told me was like, basically the DP kind of says yes to the director no matter what. And that sounds very like binary, but like, and obviously, I would never do something that I don't think is the right thing to do, but it really like kind of perked my ears up to be like, okay, like let's just try that. I'd never done that, which is weird. Like as a DP, you're supposed to be at service to the director, and I always felt like I was. But like if someone comes to me and taps me on the shoulder and they're like, what if we did this? And I'm like, yes, let's absolutely do that. How can we do that our best? Versus, and really try to just do whatever is asked of me. In the sense of if it's moving what we're all moving towards forward in the right direction and someone else feels some way about it, I want to be open to that. I want to be open to adapting to that. And I think I've personally gotten some great results out of that. And I think it's made collaborations so much healthier and smoother. And really just took the ego out of it, which like,
that's what I was hearing.
Yeah. The ego is what every artist struggles with and against. And I'm never going to say I don't struggle with it, but it's definitely helped my process with that.
Because I hear like, it's hard for us to get out of our comfort zone. And especially when we got like a little not little, but a resume behind us and we have like our style. And for someone to kind of push us out of our comfort zone, it is easy to be like, nah. But I love that with the ego aside, like, okay, I don't have the answer how to do it, but let's collectively brainstorm how we can do it the best, your idea to the best.
Yes.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Well, this is a great way to end the podcast because I think there are some principles here for life and for being a good human as I'm listening to you talk.
Yeah.
If all of our relationships, our friendships, our romantic partnerships, our sibling relationships, our team creative collaborations, if we would just take the ego out a little bit, ask some questions, be curious, help me understand what you're looking for here. How can I serve you? Or I'm not quite getting the direction. I think that in our country, all of those things would be better. We would be better people, better humans if we would just take a minute to listen to each other. So thank you for that. That's really good. And again, the simple sometimes is the most powerful thing in our life and in our projects. So that's it, everybody. This is episode 317 of the BraveMaker Podcast. Thank you for following along at BraveMaker.org on Instagram as well as on YouTube. We're here at Sundance all week. This is the first official day here, January 26th. January 22nd of 2026. And we've got Tyler Clark. You've been listening to him. He is the DP cinematographer of Freelance. I am Tony Gapastione. You can find me on all the socials at Tony Gapastione and follow us at BraveMaker.org. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you want people to follow you.
Oh, yeah. Tyler Clark DP at Instagram is usually the best thing. TylerClark.work's the website. So very simple.
So grateful to have you here. You guys know Miss Priscilla Lamb on Instagram.
Awesome. If you are here at Sundance, please follow along. We're going to be live here in our condo every single day. I will also be at the Impact Lounge Friday, January 23rd, hosting a panel on how to get a rep in LA at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time live at the Impact Lounge. Thank you so much for watching. And as we always say here at BraveMaker, thank you to producer Amy Cohen on the other side. Amy, we love you. Thanks for doing this on the other side in Austin, doing all these cool quotes. We say brave stories change the world. And
you are the story.
All right, everybody. Happy Sundance. We'll see you soon.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at BraveMaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.